So there's a lot of things going on, I know, at the Capitol, but what do you see coming forward with, sexual harassment, transparency issues? What things are you expecting there?
So good morning. What's really interesting is that last week on Monday, wasn't it, James, when they came out with the new rules? So for those of you who aren't aware of the way it works, because I wasn't before I got elected, each house, the House of Representatives and the state Senate, each make their own rules of procedure and how they operate. And those rules actually trump law. So the way it goes is the Constitution is supreme, then Senate rules, and then the law. So it really is important what we pass in terms of what our own rules are, because everybody tries to downplay it and say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a huge big deal. So on Monday, we were given the new rules from the Senate, and there was this huge new provision about sexual harassment and what a complainant is supposed to do. And I almost just lost it. I was like, what in the world are y'all thinking? Some of the things that they had put in there were, one, they limited the ability to file a complaint. And remember, this isn't a civil or criminal case. This is just the body governing itself and the integrity of the Senate. So you would think that we really want to kind of keep an eye on that, right? It's an institutional thing. They limited it to 2 years, but then there was a caveat when you read down that, well, but you couldn't file a claim or a complaint when someone had indicated that they were going to run for reelection. We run every 2 years. So I was like, okay, so you're going to take now 2 years and make it into 1 year. And then they put all this confidentiality. They said that the complainant had to sign a statement under oath acknowledging that he or she could be prosecuted for false claims, and that if it was found that the complaint was frivolous, they would have to pay the costs of any investigation and then possibly be held in contempt of the Senate, which under the Constitution of Georgia means that they could be jailed by the senators. Not exactly kind of the model for transparency or trying to help people come forward if there is an issue. And what was really interesting for me from an optics standpoint is that the same day the governor of the state, or around the same time, had released his guidelines with respect to the employees at the state capitol. And it varied significantly. So the right hand and the left hand are not speaking, and it seems that what the state Senate is trying to do, especially probably after State Senator David Schaefer, there were allegations filed against him, they're really trying to be self-protective. Oh, and then there was one last thing. You had to file a statement if you're the complainant. Now remember, you are the victim here, saying whether or not you are an agent and being paid by someone else to file the complaint. I mean, it was just kind of replete with self-protection, and then also there's this idea, or you can see somebody thinks that women really are just lying, they're not telling the truth, and somebody is putting them up to do it and probably paying them to say it. And so, like I said, it's not exactly a model for really wanting to deal with the problem that we have.